and welcome to my Meet the Teacher. This is my introduction to the English as a Second Language program, often referred to as ESL. Like I just mentioned, I am Madame Thorsberg. I am the ESL teacher. This is my 11th year teaching in Columbus City Schools, and this is my 6th year at Kenwood. Prior to Kenwood, I was at Eastmore Academy, where I taught high school French. I love working with non native English speakers. I think they make the cutest language mistakes. And honestly, I think they learn just as much from me as what I learn from them about cultures and just different places around the world. My family includes my two boys, Maxwell and Colin. You can see them in the picture there, and my husband, Will. And here's another, just a fun fact. I love the French language and culture, but if I had to live on only one cuisine, it would be Italian. This year, my ESL instructional aide is Madame Starts. If that name sounds familiar, it's because she has been at Kenwood for many years, as you'll see here. Madame Starts is originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and has one son, Daniel, who's studying at Denison University. And Madame Starts has been teaching as a classroom teacher in French immersion schools for 35 years. But this is her first year as an instructional aide, so we welcome her to a new position at Kenwood. And I think, like probably most of the teachers on our staff, Madame Starts likes diverse environments and cultures. And when she's not at school, she loves hiking, swimming, hanging out with friends, and traveling. So, what do we do in ESL? In ESL, we work on English in the four domains of language. Those domains are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So, we work on a lot. Just to give some more specifics, when we work on listening skills, we might be listening to another student speak, we might be listening to a story, we might be listening to a recording of a news article or something, and we're listening for details. We're also listening for vocabulary. We're listening for how someone's expression conveys meaning when they're talking. When we work on speaking, we work on speaking with cohesion, so having a point to why we're talking. We, of course, work on speaking chronologically, and especially when we're retelling or telling stories, retelling those and telling them in order and with the proper expression. So, students know that usually how our body language and our facial expressions are, that also gives a meaning. So, that's something we work on. And the reading and the writing are more academic contents. These two are a little bit harder to develop. So you might have a child who speaks English very well, but cannot read English at all, which is very often the case because these skills are just harder to develop. So for reading, I'm trying to get your child to read at grade level, if not above grade level. And we're reading academic content. For writing, we're working on writing all forms of writing to share information. And that, of course, includes the correct spelling and grammar as well. I do differentiation, which means that your child's English lessons are tailored to his or her level based on the scores from the previous years, in this case, 2020's Ohio English Language Proficiency Assessment, which is the OELPA test. The OELPA test is a state mandated test given every year to all non native English speaking students in the state of Ohio at any school. So if you're transferring into Kenwood from another school, your child has an OELPA score from the previous location. And the OELPA breaks down a child's language development in those four domains that I just mentioned: the listening, the speaking, the reading, and the writing. And it will show me where your child is weakest and where they're strongest. So we can really tailor our lessons to those domains. I will aim for one-on-one Zoom sessions with students. I'm working with over 70 ESL students at Kenwood this year, so it's a bit of a struggle to just come up with these groups. But if I'm going to work with your child for an hour a week, I would much prefer it to be a very quality hour, where I can get to know just your child better and we can really, really tailor our lessons to what they need. If I just absolutely can't find the time in mine or Madame Starts' schedules to do strictly one-on-one lessons, we will do groups of similarly leveled students. So maybe a group of 3 or 4 students who are all reading around the same level, or a small group of 3 or 4, maybe 5 students who all need to work on their listening skills or something. I would never put, let's say, an incoming kindergartner with a 5th grader. So if I say small groups, it could be a kindergartner with maybe a 1st grader, or a 4th and a couple 5th graders together or something. But I wouldn't go too far beyond your child's actual grade level when working with other students. It will take a few weeks for me to create a schedule that serves my entire ESL population. I work with all ESL students in grades K to 7, but I don't work with pre-K ESL students. So I will reach out with information on times that may work for your child's lessons. And like I mentioned, I'll conduct those via Zoom. And I'll also post lessons on my website for students to complete outside of my time with them. The link to the website will be here shortly. But I just want to thank you for your patience as I try to wrap my mind around scheduling this many students. I've never had this many students before. It usually kind of hovers somewhere in the 50s. I'm so excited to have more ESL students at Kenwood. It's just going to be a bit of a scheduling nightmare to make sure we're serving as many students as possible. When you work with me, or when your child works with me, these are the materials that they would need: a Chromebook or a computer, some type of device that successfully runs Zoom with the microphone and the speakers. Also, I ask that they have paper and pencils near them. It's pretty much guaranteed I'll have your child write some things down and just hold the paper up to me while we're working. And markers and highlighters are helpful just so that I can have students underline things while we're working, or circle things. I know your children have a whole list of materials and supplies for their regular classrooms. So I'm trying to keep it simple. Hopefully you already have all of these things and your child is already using all of these things regularly. These are my classroom and Zoom expectations. I do ask that when we're having lessons, your child stay in one place, unless, of course, they're getting up to go to the bathroom or get water or something. It's just, I want to be able to make sure they stay in the frame of the computer so I can see them and hear them most of all. So stay mostly in one place. If they need to stand, that's fine. If they need to sit, if they need to bounce, that's fine. Make sure your location is prepared for learning with the school supplies that I mentioned from the previous slide. Of course, if we're doing small groups, listen, take turns talking, be kind to the others that are on the Zoom call with us. And this one might sound silly, but keep your clothes on while we're on the Zoom too. If you like spill water or something while you're on the Zoom and you need to change, just leave the video frame to go do that. Electronics that are not being used for lessons should be turned off. So that's music, that's TV. It's just distracting for the students and for me as well. And I ask that there be an adult somewhere near to help troubleshoot technology problems. For some of the older kids, if there's an issue with sound, for example, I can type in the chat and maybe help troubleshoot. That's been successful in the past. But if the child isn't old enough to read, or read at a level high enough for what I'm talking about, they wouldn't be able to read my recommendations in the chat and would need an adult to help troubleshoot with the computer. Here's a sample ESL schedule. I'll go through this kind of quickly. We would spend 45 minutes to an hour per Zoom per student. And we would spend some time on high frequency words, reading leveled books tailored to the child's level, of course, and diving deeper into the books about setting, plot, character development, those kinds of things. We'd also work on some phonics skills and word work, vocabulary work if your child needs that, and some daily writing. For writing, especially for younger kids or for beginning students, that could be just writing a word and drawing a picture that goes with it. But for older kids, it might be writing sentences, or even some journal writing or something like that. And that's where I would have them, hold it up and show it to me. An intermediate ESL schedule would look very similar. So reading books, diving deeper into the books and the discussion there, going over vocabulary and working on words. For the more advanced students at Kenwood, I'm talking like the 6th and the 7th grade students, my lessons will come more so in the way of support for their ELA classroom. They might be reading some pretty challenging novels in their ELA class. So this would be our chance to reread or to pre-read or to go over vocabulary from that to help support what they're doing there. I will often have your child complete work for me beyond our time together. It would never be anything super long or complicated. It would typically just be if we didn't finish something, I would have your child finish writing whatever we didn't finish. And then I might ask that you take a picture of the work and send it to me so I can ensure the child has completed it. Or it might be working on spelling words or something like that. But my time is limited with them. So I appreciate all parents help in making sure that the students are doing what they're asked and that they're prepared for my lessons, because that's the only way that we're going to see some English progress and growth this year. Report cards. I do report cards. I don't give like A, B, C, D, F letter grades like that. The report cards are broken down in the 4 domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So the parents will receive 4 of those per year. And the report cards are typically sent via the mail as opposed to through Infinite Campus. However, more information will be forthcoming on that because I think the department is looking into changing that this year. Conferences. Yes, you can sign up with me for parent-teacher conferences as well as your classrooms or your student's classroom teacher. So however conferences look this year, whether it's virtual or face-to-face, yes, please sign up with me, and I would love to talk with you more about your child's progress. If my slots are full because I have so many students, just reach out to me and I will try to make arrangements. These are a few ways to contact me. I would go ahead and jot these down right now if you have some paper. You can text me. This is my direct number. It's 614-653-7293. Mostly for urgent issues. If it's something that can wait, I much prefer just a message via Class Dojo or email. My Class Dojo is connected to all of the school's classes, so you can message me and I'll get a notification right away that there was a message. And my email is just my last name, Thorsberg, with the A in front of it, athorsberg@columbus.k12.oh.us. I also have a website that is important to note. All of this information from this PowerPoint is on my website, and it's also on my website in French. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the time to record this video in English and French, but if you're having a hard time understanding anything that I'm saying, or if I'm talking too fast, I know I'm a fast talker, then you can go to this website of mine. It's tinyurl.com/KenwoodESL, and I have all of this information on there in English and in French with my contact information. It's where I'll post lessons for your child, or post links to videos of lessons, and you can get all of this information on there. My Zoom ID is also on the website. So my Zoom ID and password will be the same for all students anytime. The ID is 737-071-9266, and my password is 9, capital S, lowercase s, capital V, lowercase d, capital W. Again, this is on my website, so if you didn't get a chance to write it down, that's fine. You can follow me at Madame Thorsberg on Instagram. This is my first year using Instagram for school purposes, so be patient with me as I kind of try to figure out how to do that. But I will post photos that I receive from families of just children working, as long as I have your permission and you've filled out the media release, which I believe is found in Infinite Campus. And we also have a couple other school accounts, just at École Kenwood French Immersion one, and our gym teacher, Mr. Ferris, has an account too. There might be more, but that's all I know of for now. Like I just said, send me photos of your child working and I will post them if I have your permission. Since we're not working face to face, this is really the best way for me to get to know your children and to have a community of learners. I would especially love photos if you're celebrating anything in particular, any holidays or birthdays or something. Send me those and I will post them for the Kenwood ESL community to see. And one huge piece of advice that I have for everyone at all grade levels is to read at home together in any language. So that makes it even easier. If your native language is Spanish and you have Spanish books at home, go ahead and read in Spanish. Reading in any language exposes children to new vocabulary, the conventions of storytelling, and so much more. Research also shows that children who are native in their first language can more easily acquire a second language. So any reading you're doing at home will support the child's English learning as well. And of course, their French learning. If you have older kids that don't want you to read with them, then I would just encourage you to have them read anything and then question them about their reading. We have no way of knowing if they understand or are understanding what they're reading unless we talk to them. So ask them the plot of the story that they're reading, or have them come up with an alternate ending or something to the books that they're reading. These types of conversations are just going to support the literacy experience. There's my website again. You don't even need the HTTPS. It's just tinyurl.com/KenwoodESL. You'll find all of this information there, plus so much more. So if there's anything you write down today, please write down that. And that's everything. There is my contact email or via your class dojo. And please, if you have questions, want clarification on anything, please reach out to me. I will be reaching out to families as the school year really gets underway. And thank you for just listening to my video and coming to this virtual Meet the Teacher.